February 28th, 2015, Los Angeles. A woman walks through her front door after watching her son play soccer. Glass of wine in her hand. She falls backward. The glass shatters behind her head, and two pieces cut into the back of her neck. Two different spots hit the artery. The police called it a 1 in a million accident. Not a freak accident, 1 in a million. Sit with the physics of that for a second, because if you really do, tonight's gonna be a long night. The man who found her lying in that blood was her husband, her producer, the man whose name was on every record she ever made. But before we get there, you need to know who she was first. Let's get into it. She wasn't supposed to make it, not because she wasn't talented, but because nobody handed her anything. She was born in Guyana, came up in Los Angeles with no connections, no industry parents, no shortcut. While other girls were being groomed for the spotlight, Charmayne Maxwell was singing backup, singing on cruise ships for strangers who applauded politely and then went back to their dinner. That kind of beginning either breaks you or builds something in you that nobody can touch. For her, it built something quiet, the quiet ones, the ones who never demand the room. Those are the ones you have to watch. She found Mimi and Nikki the way most beautiful things happen, accidentally. Three voices that fit together like they've been designed for it. And then somebody put them in a room to audition. Here's what nobody told them about that room. It was dark. One projector. Chairs they could barely make out. They were asked to sing, so they sang. The way Charmayne always sang, like the room was empty, like nobody was watching. Michael Jackson was watching. He'd been sitting in the shadows the whole time. And when it was over, he told them, "Don't worry, I signed you because you're incredible. Be great. Never forget that." She believed him. She spent the next 20 years trying to be exactly that. The problem is, the industry had a different plan for her entirely. And by 2015, that plan had left her completely alone in a house in LA. But that part comes later. Now, If You Love Me, 1994. Man, I don't care where you were that summer. If you were anywhere near a radio, you heard that song. You heard that voice. Brownstone came out of nowhere and just took over. Debut album went platinum. Grammy nomination. MJJ Music, Michael Jackson's own label, had put them out, and the whole industry sat up and paid attention. These three women from Los Angeles, who had no business being that good, that fast. I still remember the first time I heard Charmayne's voice cut through on that record. There's a moment in the bridge where she pulls back just slightly, not because she can't go bigger, but because she knows she doesn't have to. That's not a technique you learn. That's something you're born with. Michael had told them to be Coca-Cola, consistent, recognizable, build something that lasts. And for a minute, for a real, beautiful minute, it looked like they were going to do exactly that. But here's what I want you to hold on to right now, because we're going to come back to this. In 2013, after a reunion performance on R&B Divas, Charmayne went home and typed something on Twitter. I'm not going to tell you what it said yet, but when I do, everything about tonight is going to land completely different. Just hold that, because right now, I need to talk about the name on the records. Karsten Scheck. Producer name, Soul Shock. The man Charmayne married. The man who produced Brownstone's music. The music that made her famous. The music that put her voice in front of the world. Go pull up those album credits right now. Find the Produced By section. His name is there, hers is not. And that would almost be fine. Marriages are complicated. Creative partnerships are complicated, except for what happened next. See, Soul Shock took the sound he built with Charmayne's group and walked it straight into the biggest rooms in the industry. Whitney Houston, Usher, Brandy, Monica, Tupac. His client list reads like the entire decade. The man built a dynasty, a real one. And the foundation of that dynasty, the proof of concept, the sound that opened every door, was Brownstone, was her. His name on every platinum record, her name nowhere. Check this out. When Brownstone started breaking apart, when the internal tensions got too heavy and the label started pulling back budgets, MJJ Music didn't exactly hold anyone's hand through the transition. By 2001, the label had collapsed under Michael's own legal and personal chaos. No warning for the artist, no transition plan, no phone call. Just lights off, door locked, figure it out. Just like that, gone. So Charmayne did what survivors do. She didn't fold. She got on a plane and flew to London, started over from scratch, signed with Mercury Records in 2000 and went back into the studio. Y'all, she flew to London to start over. London, left everything familiar, crossed an ocean because she still believed the music was worth fighting for. The first single didn't chart. Mercury pulled the entire album. No release date, no public statement, no explanation. Just shelved. Like it never happened. Like she never happened. She came back to Los Angeles with nothing to show for any of it except years she couldn't get back. I get fired up every single time I think about this. Because that album existed. She made it. And somewhere in a label archive, it's still sitting there and the world never got to hear it. After London, she came home. Back to LA. Back to the house. Back to Soul Shock. And somewhere between all of that, something in her started to go quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, the other kind. The kind that builds when a person has been told no enough times that they stop asking out loud. R&B divas on TV, Brownstone reunion. The lights came up, the outfits were right, the smiles were right. Three women who used to own the radio, standing together again on a stage. And for a few minutes, it looked like a comeback. It looked like the industry finally remembered what it had thrown away. The show aired, people watched, people talked. And then Charmayne went home. She sat down somewhere in that house, maybe the couch, maybe the kitchen table, I don't know. And she opened Twitter and she typed this: "Tonight, after I saw R&B divas, I want to crawl in a hole and..." She posted that publicly. Not a private message to a friend, not something she deleted 5 minutes later. Public, for anyone to see. Like someone screaming at the top of their lungs in a room full of people who are all looking at their phones. Nobody stopped. Nobody called. Now, I'm not telling you what that sentence means. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to stand here and put a label on what she was going through. But I will tell you this. When a woman who has been told no by every institution that was supposed to protect her sits down after a reunion performance and writes those words, that is not a woman who is okay. That is a woman who has been carrying something very heavy for a very long time, alone. The industry gave her a stage one night in 2013, and the moment the cameras turned off, she told the truth. By 2015, she was 46 years old, a son, 11 years old, a house in LA, a husband whose career had quietly swallowed everything hers was supposed to be. Nobody knew February 28th was coming. February 28th, 2015 started like any other Saturday. She took her son to a soccer game, 11 years old. She sat in the stands and watched him run. A mother watching her boy play under the California sun. That's the last image anyone has of her out in the world. Just a woman at a soccer field, being somebody's mom. They came home. At some point that evening, she was standing at the doorway between the house and the backyard. Glass of wine in her hand. She fell backward. The glass shattered behind her head, and two separate pieces of that glass into the back of her neck. Two different locations. The carotid artery was severed. She out on the floor of her own home. Soul Shock arrived around 9 p.m. He found her unconscious, called for help. By then, it was too late. Now, I need you to sit with the physics of this for a second, because this is the part that the internet has never been able to let go of, and I understand why. If a person falls straight backward and the glass breaks underneath their head when they hit the ground. How do the shards travel upward and forward to puncture the back of the neck at two separate points? Glass doesn't move like that. Gravity doesn't work like that. Law enforcement called it a 1 in a million accident. Not a freak accident. 1 in a million. Think about the last time you heard a police department use that phrase in an official statement. Think about what it means when even the people closing the case can't fully explain what happened. The autopsy results were never made public. The toxicology report was never released. California law allows families to keep those documents private. The door closed. Soul Shock never gave a long interview about that night. No statement, no tears on camera, no explanation, just silence. And somewhere in that house, an 11-year-old boy knew something had happened to his mother before anyone told him. Nobody has ever asked him what he heard. Somewhere, someone put on "If You Love Me," maybe in a car, maybe in a kitchen. That voice came through the speakers, warm, unhurried, completely sure of itself. And whoever was in the room went quiet for a second without knowing why. That's what she left. Brownstone didn't stop. They found a new member, someone who, according to the official statement, reminds them a great deal of Maxwell, not only in terms of her talent, but also her mannerisms and personality. They kept going. The group continued. Her name became a footnote in her own story. Soul Shock kept working. The client list didn't shrink. The industry didn't pause, not even for a breath. Nobody asked where the album was, the one she made in London, the one Mercury shelved without a word. It's still sitting in a vault somewhere, finished, unheard, belonging to a label that decided one missed chart position was enough reason to erase a human being's work. If that album had come out, would she still have been in that house on February 28th? I don't know. Nobody knows. That's the question I keep coming back to. Not the glass, not the physics. Just, what if somebody had said yes one more time instead of no? 46 years old, a platinum record, a Grammy nomination, a voice that could stop a room without trying, and an album the world never got to hear. See, the industry will always find someone who reminds them of you. That's the cruelest part. You are replaceable to the machine, but to the people who actually heard you, really heard you, there is no replacement. There never was. For every woman who has ever built something and watched someone else put their name on it, for every woman who has ever screamed in a crowded room and been met with silence, for every woman who kept showing up long after the industry stopped showing up for her, this one was for you. Maybe we never really lose the people who gave us something true. Maybe we just run out of time to tell them what it meant. Rest easy, Charmayne. Not Maxie. Not the Brownstone member. Charmayne Maxwell. That was always the name that deserved to be remembered. If her story moved you, drop her name in the comments. Just her name, that's enough. And if you know a woman whose talent has been borrowed, whose credit has been taken, whose voice has been used and then set aside, share this with her tonight. She needs to know she's not alone in it. There's another story coming. Another name the industry hoped you'd forget. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Good night, y'all.